Yo, what's up, guys? Here's my pre-workout snack. The Wicked Sister chocolate protein with a couple of Oreos crushed up, an organic banana, a couple of pikelets with some strawberry. That's how we run this shit, boys. Trying to bulk at the moment, so you gotta eat right. About 40 minutes until class. I'm probably eating a bit too much, but that's okay. Hang on, I'm putting something away. Alright. Now, I'm going to try and run this shit back while I eat. I don't know how well it's going to go, but we ball. Okay. My name's Luke. You already know that. This video is about how to ask the right questions. So, I think that as you start to get better at jiu-jitsu and your problems start to become more nuanced and you begin to take more ownership over the techniques you're doing and you take more pride in it and you overall just start to really, you kind of see your self-actualization on the horizon. You see who you can be, and then you start to ask more complicated questions to try and get these specific solutions to certain problems, to try and reach that destination quicker. But this compulsion can be misleading. So I'm going to tell you a story. Sometimes, it's not really a story, but it's a vague story. Sometimes when you ask questions to certain coaches, like about a certain technique, like let's say, for example, you go to this high level coach and you ask him a question about a specific solution, and then what you do is, let's say we're talking about some sort of an escape from side control, okay? I'll say to this coach, hey, so when I get into this variation of side control, I tend to do this specific variation of this escape. Do you think this is correct? Now, oftentimes, what you'll find is, no, not even often, but sometimes, you'll find that some people are very nice and caring and will want to sit down and kind of work out the problem with you and try and invest themselves into your thought process, and they'll help you try and iron out your thought process about this. But some coaches will hear you go through this detailed explanation of the thing that you're doing, and they'll say, oh yeah, that's all right. That question was for nothing. Did you learn anything? No. Did you get a little bit of a pat on the back? Yes. Is that useful? Not really. So how do we fix this? How do we get the information that we're looking for, or the information that we need to develop as an athlete when we ask questions? What you do is you leave the question more open-ended. It sounds horrible, but nobody gives a fuck about what you're doing, unless it's like a coach that's with you on day in, day out, and will actually do what I said before and help you iron out that thought process. But when you're cross-training and you're asking different people these certain questions, leave it open-ended. What is the point in asking someone a question if you're trying to shoehorn your own perspective into it so you get a yes or no answer about whether or not your perspective is right? The whole point of you asking a question to someone else is to actually work out what their perspective is to actually get an understanding of what this person thinks about this position. So, as opposed to asking a detailed, nuanced question about your own specific perspective on how to escape side control, go to the coach and then just be like, how do I escape side control? How do you escape side control? When someone takes this specific, this configuration of hand positioning or head positioning, let's say someone gets you sorry, I'm rambling. Let's say you go to the coach and you just ask them, hey, when someone has got you in top side control, or when you're in bottom side control and someone's actively walking your hips away, what do you do? Boom! And then you allow the opening for that coach to lay down their perspective, which is completely free from any unnecessary tampering of your own perspective. So then what you can do is, you take this approach and you ask many different people about the same thing. And what you'll get is 10 different answers instead of 10 fucking yes or no's about whether or not what you were doing in the first place was correct. Then what you can do is you can take all of these answers and then you can formulate it into your own perspective and your own understanding of the position that you're curious about. So, when you're asking questions, be open-ended. Just say, could be something like, no, what do I do when someone's outside camping? And they'll be like, oh, can you show me? You show them. They're like, oh, okay. Do X, Y, and Z, and blah, 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 blah. And they actually lay it out. But you need to ask the question in a way that gives them the opportunity to be able to do that, and also gives them an opportunity that is actually appealing to them, that makes them actually want to do it. So, hopefully you found that helpful. I'm going to finish off my pre-workout meal and get the fuck out of here so I'm not late. So, peace. Represent the Bamboo Dojo. Let's go.